Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, and today I'm breaking my silence. But first, a word from our sponsor, which is Skillshare. You guys should know I've been working with Skillshare for a while now. Skillshare is an online community that has, thousands of classes and just about anything you can think of to get your creative juices flowing. And I know it's towards the end of March. Maybe we made some New Year's resolutions to start a new hobby or really get better at a hobby, or maybe something that you're trying to turn into a full-time job. And maybe we've let that slide to the wayside, and I understand, but there is never too late to work on that goal, and so Skillshare is perfect for that. Like I said, there's thousands of classes, anything you can think of, range of time, beginner to advanced, Skillshare has it. And if you don't know exactly what you're looking for, maybe you just want to be creative, Skillshare also can recommend you things. I get weekly emails with, here are some Skillshare classes that we think you might enjoy. So a few that I'd highlight here today: Improve Your Video Editing Skills in Adobe Premiere Pro with Adam Sharabi, and Video Editing with Adobe Premiere Pro for Beginners by Jordy Vandeput. Obviously, that has been curated for me because those are a lot of the videos that I look up. I use both iMovie and Adobe Premiere Pro. So those are some of the classes that I go for, and sometimes I have ones that I already want to do, and then sometimes I go with the ones that they recommend me. So if you want to try out Skillshare for free for a month, since you're one of my wonderful followers, all you have to do is click that link that's listed in the description and be one of the first 1,000 people to click that link, and you can try Skillshare Premium for free for a month. And I promise you, you will not regret it. I mean, it's free, but you can explore all of the classes, see if it's something that you really want to pursue going forward. So again, click that link down below, be one of the first 1,000 people, and you get to try a month of Skillshare Premium for free. So thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. But now into what I need to talk to you about. I've been putting off this video for a while because I've just been nervous about the feedback that I would get, but I can't do that any longer. I need to speak my truth. And so we're here to talk about Middle Game by Seanan McGuire. So I remember when this book came out, I swear everyone was reading it. It was their favorite book of the year, and immediately I was like, to that cover. At that point, I hadn't read anything by Seanan McGuire, so I didn't have any feelings towards the author, but I was like, what is that cover? And then as I heard about the book, and I heard the two main characters' names were Roger and Dodger, I put it on my books I don't want to read for a petty ass reason, because Roger and Dodger, really? And if you remember, last year I made a video kind of like anti-TBR, books I don't want to read and my little reasons for them. They're not excellent reasons, but Middle Game was on that list, and my main reason was because the characters' names were Roger and Dodger. That's really it, because I feel like it's a really hard book to explain. I didn't know much about it. I would just hear their names, that they're twins, and alchemy. And so I was like, yeah, I'm good on that. But of course, since I like pain, I guess, I posted a poll for my patrons to vote on from books that were in that video for me to read. And I was really surprised. I thought that a Sarah J. Maas book was gonna win, but Middle Game won. And so I read it, and I'm here to tell you my thoughts about it. Now, I feel like people either love Middle Game or they really don't like it. Again, I personally haven't seen that many people who haven't liked it, but I know from my wrap up when I mentioned Middle Game at the end that there were some comments where people were like, ugh, I didn't like Middle Game. Or finally someone who doesn't buy into the hype or whatever. And so I read it, and I can understand why people do not like that book. But I loved it, dog. I mean, it was for me. It was for me. I'm so sorry to those of you who thought I was gonna be on your side. I'm so sorry, but I am team Middle Game. I am team Roger and Dodger, and I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. I really went into this book not thinking necessarily I would hate it, but that it'd just be like, meh, and this is tedious and ready for it to be over with. And again, I really do believe, or I really do understand why people wouldn't like this book. It's very character focused. There is a plot, but if you don't really buy into the characters from the beginning, you're not gonna enjoy this story, and you're definitely gonna think it's too long. If I have to be critical, because what did I give it on Goodreads? A 4.5, rounded up to a 5? Well, I didn't put my score up there yet. I would say a 4.5. I would critique that I can see towards the end, maybe it could have been edited down a little bit. Yeah, that's it. That's all I can think of. And that the ending kind of, to me, feels a little open-ended. And I know there's another book called Seasonal Fears, I think, that's coming out. But from what I read of the description, it's not following Roger and Dodger. So I'm like, well, but it just works for me. So I feel like, I don't know if there's people who like the Wayward children's books and don't like Middle Game, because I felt the same kind of whimsical, kooky writing that Shannon McGuire does, where it's kind of talking to you, but then also telling the story of the characters, and then, you know, adding in these little tidbits, like something they do and it'd be like, and, you know, later they would realize that that wasn't a good idea. It does not always work for me in books, but it worked in this one. And I just loved Roger and Dodger. Like, I just was so like attached to them really from the beginning when we meet them, and just going through their lives with them and their ups and downs. I was just like, I just want them to be happy. So if I bamboozle you, I am so sorry. But what is Middle Game about? I don't even know if I can explain it without spoiling it. So they do these testing things outside on the speakers. And I'm like, okay, well, one, it's outside, I'm inside, so I'm never gonna hear it. And then even when I've gone outside to try to hear it, it's just mumbling. So I'm like, this system sucks. You've been testing it for 3 years now, and it sucks. Okay, so Middle Game is a book that is about alchemy. So there is this person, a character within the book, Deborah Baker, who was like a woman. And at that time, there weren't a lot of women in the sciences, of course, who was really experimenting with like alchemy. And like, I don't even know how to explain it. And she created this person who was like basically her son / apprentice. And he is continuing her work. And he's basically trying to create beings for a reason, and he's had a lot of different experiments, other beings that haven't worked out, but Roger and Dodger are a current pair that they are, you know, watching play out. So they were created, and then they were placed into 2 different homes, so they grew up apart, but then they somehow find each other, and you're really following them over the years of their story together and apart, and the different things they have to face from these outside forces who they, you know, don't realize are the reason they exist, and what they eventually want them to do. If that sounds like, it's a really unique book, I think. And yeah, my soul, Roger and Dodger, like anytime they were in danger, I was just like, oh, no, I don't want you to lose the other one. And it's, yeah. So if her writing style, and that just felt like I was in this, I don't even know how to describe it. It just felt different. And it felt like, you know, her writing style of The Wayward Children, but to me, it feels like whimsical and like kooky and just like odd. That's her writing style. And then also, if you'd know, the character that's in the book, the Deborah Baker, wrote these children's stories, and you get pieces of the children's stories within the story, but then Shannon McGuire also wrote those actual books, and they, like, the author says Deborah Baker, and I want to read those as well. But it is, to me, it was just a really unique story, and I just loved them so much that I was like, okay, I don't care how long this is, I'm just gonna continue following your journey. I just want y'all to be safe and be happy. and they just go through so much, and like in growth, and you know, and they fight, and just all these different things and things you realize, and you're like, oh, because obviously we get to see these people who created them, and they don't realize who these people are. So you're seeing that and wondering like, oh my God, when is this, you know, when are they gonna collide, or when are they gonna find out about the other one? And then there was something with this other character that I was like, oh my gosh, who like changed in the end, and I was like, oh my God, I did not expect that. And yeah, even not being a science and math person, that's another thing, Roger and Dodger. So Roger is the language twin. He just like loves all things language, and he's just super smart, like words and language. And Dodger is the math twin, and that's like her thing. And even not being a math and science person, just reading when she was talking about math and science, and it swept me away. I don't know. I wasn't expecting this. I don't have strong critiques to give the story because I did not find many complaints with it. I was just a happy little lamb prancing along, reading about my little babies. And I still really don't like the cover. It makes sense once you read the book, but I still really don't like the cover. And I'm really sad the next one isn't following Roger and Dodger. Now, I don't know if they're not going to make an appearance. I didn't read too much of the summary on Goodreads in case, you know, I gave too much away. So I don't know if they're going to make an appearance. I don't know how many books Johnny Maguire plans on like writing in this world, but it did leave off where it was like, I have questions. And some people are probably fine with that ending, and I didn't hate it, but I'm just like, I have questions. I need you to answer. And I don't know if we'll ever get those answers. And so in my mind, I'm gonna make up what happened to them, what went on after that last scene. But yeah, I had some emotions because there's some slice of life parts where you're really just going with them through their day, and then there's some really like more action-y parts where they're like really in danger and stuff is happening. And so maybe people, I haven't read any reviews because I just don't care to read any reviews when I love a book, or not read reviews that are less than 5 stars. But so like maybe that messed with people, like the pacing. And I know from the couple comments on my video, I feel like people thought it may have been too long, which I can understand. But yeah, it just definitely is, I think, 2 major things. If you generally like Shauna Maguire's writing, and the only other things I've read from Shauna Maguire are the Wayward Children books. So if you like that style of writing, and then if you connect to Roger and Dodger, I think you'll really enjoy this book. But if you don't like either of those things, even if you just like her writing but you don't connect to the characters, it's not going to be fun because it's really focused on them. And yes, the things that happen to them, but I mean, they're the center of this story. So if you don't connect to them, if you don't care, you're not really going to enjoy it. And then especially if you don't like her writing, because she just has those little quirky things that she does, and it can get meta at times, which does not always work for me. Sometimes I find it obnoxious, but in this, it just worked. And so I'm just so sorry if you were coming into this video for a rant, because I think some people thought I was gonna rant about this, and I mean, I did that on purpose at the end of my wrap-up video, so sorry, I led you astray. But for once, I hope you're happy for me that I actually loved something. So I hope that if you were like me and didn't want to read it because of the cover or the names or because of hype, but you like her writing style, or you're open to trying this kind of quirky writing style and Roger and Dodger are very unique, they're just very unique characters. So like, I would say give it a try. You know, I borrowed it from the library, but I want to buy a copy because I do want to reread it one day. So it's always worth, of course, you know, if you can get it from the library, to try it out. But I'm so glad that I did. I do plan on reading Seasonal Fears. I may try to get it from the library. I do like that cover better, but I I've already forgotten what the summary on Goodreads said, so I honestly can't tell you what the second one is about. I just know I didn't see Roger and Dodger's names, but I am gonna read that one, and I definitely want to read those 2 books. It's like Over the Woodward Wall, and then I forgot what the second one is called. And so I would love to know your thoughts if you've read Middle Game, or if you plan to now. Like maybe you weren't, or maybe you were on the fence. Do you think you're gonna read it now? Actually, I'm gonna add in a little spoiler section here at the end just to mention a couple things that was in my feelings. So spoilers, if you don't wanna hear any spoilers, just give this video a thumbs up and then let me know down in the comments if you plan to read Middle Game. But so spoilers, 3, 2, 1. I will tell you that every time, like when they first started, like when they quantum entangled and were starting talking, it was so precious. But every single time they like, one decided to break off their, you know, relationship or went their separate ways, I was like crushed. I was messaging Angela and I was like, I just want them to be happy together, because you know, one's on the West Coast, one's on the East Coast, and I'm just like, I just need them to be together. And then when she comes to the East Coast and then they meet, and just all of the different times, I hated, like I didn't mind when reading the time jumps, but I'm like, no, is all of this time passed and they're not together? And so towards, you know how the book starts. The book starts like, I'm like, oh no, I do not like how this is starting, because I'm waiting for it to get to this. And so then reading all these things, I'm assuming, I'm like, well, I know that she dies, so I just need them to have this time together. And so I would be devastated when they were apart. And like when she tried to kill herself and he felt that and he called, I was like a wreck. I was like, no. And then her parents' suspicions, and I can't believe with the whole thing with her parents versus his parents, like how his parents were like really in on it. I was like, oh, son of a bitch. And then college, and then they were together in college, and then the earthquake, and then they weren't together, and I was like, no. But when it's like after they're grown, so like after grad school, and Dodger's living by herself, and then she comes home and that therapist is in her house, I was like, oh no. But I thought that was really badass Roger scene. And the thing, I can't remember who the like friend was. It was Dodger's friend in college who Roger ended up dating. I did not expect that like turn of events where all the pain from losing her twin made her turn against them and help Roger and Dodger. Like I was like, oh my God. Growth, we'd love to see it. And then also, I think something like I didn't fully grasp, and then definitely why I'm gonna reread it one day, is all of the like time they reversed or whatever, because it was like, no, you have to like reset the timeline, which I love when time is manipulated in a story. Doesn't mean my brain always understands, but I was like, oh my God, wait, we're setting timelines, like how he called and he ended up talking to like a past Dodger, or like she would call and talk to a future Roger. I was just like, what? But I also was just like in it, and I just wanted them to be happy and together, and they went through so much. And so at the ending, I'm like, I was kind of surprised that they were like, we could try this one more time. I was like, no, let it be. Just live your lives happily. I don't want y'all to try this again. So that's why when I went to go look at the synopsis for Seasonal Fears, I was like, okay, so this must be the continuation. And again, I don't know if it is, but I just like want to know what they did with that little girl they had. Did they have both kids? Okay, I just loved it. Okay, end of spoilers if you're still here. I hope that if you read Middle Game, you loved it like I did. And I think that's it. So thanks again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Check out the link in my description. Thanks to you all for watching and supporting my channel. So give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, check out my description. I always have a lot of information and links in there where you can find me on the internet anytime I talk about books, ways to support my channel. And I think that's gonna be it. So I hope you stay blessed, hydrated, moisturized, and sunscreened, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.